What's going on, guys? Welcome to Test This Tech, and today we got the Maonocaster G1 Neo. I wanted to use this guy because I've been using my iPad to make music with Koala, and I feel like my workflow could be a lot easier versus having a bunch of stuff plugged into it just to log in to load in samples. So it's kind of been a little hectic when it comes to that. So the neat thing about this is a couple features on this that caught my eye versus just sticking with the Zoom R4. Zoom R4 is dope. However, there's no Bluetooth option to Bluetooth it in, so that would allow me to really get a sample into my iPad using Koala a lot faster, and I do like that, among some other neat things on here that I can, take advantage of. So to go over the specifics here, I just took it out of the box, literally. It's got this hard plastic on the top, which feels pretty nice. You got the rockers here, which do feel nice as well. Very smooth. 40 volts of phantom power. You got the Bluetooth option here, which is one of the biggest things that caught my interest there. You got a mute button for the music, mute button for the microphone. You have a noise reducer, which I find interesting. So some type of a noise gate. I obviously wouldn't use that for Koala, but if I'm using it for, podcasting or something to that regard from in a noisy area. Sidechain. So sidechain is similar to ducking. Originally, I was going to go with the PUBG Sys. I think that's the name of the brand. And it's very similar to this, but I felt like I would rather try Maono's version of this because it seems like there's a couple of devices similar to this. I feel like, hey, why not try Maono? Because they've been making some pretty decent stuff. So, sidechain again is like ducking. So basically, if I have a song playing, pressing sidechain kind of divots it so that I can talk over it. So it basically literally takes the song to the side or the music to the side or what have you. RGB button. These are for customizable pads. So I would imagine when you plug it in for the software, you can put in the sounds that you want. So I don't know the specifics there. We can go through that here in the video. Voice changer. I'm never going to use voice changer. I wish these companies would just not put that in there. I'm like, this is not a real device. Real devices for podcasting and whatnot and streaming. A lot of them don't have voice changer stuff, man. Come on, guys. Direct monitor. Obviously a big deal. I got the headphone. Oh, and then loopback too. So, this allows the option where the audio source from, say, your computer or whatnot or iPad flowing into this and going in and out. So it has a loopback, i.e. loopback function. That's going to be a big thing too. If I'm using it with my iPad. So, and then obviously you got some knobs here. You got the gain knob. This is supposed to be 60 dB of gain. So in theory, if you have an SM7B or a microphone with a lot of high gain that's needed to drive it, you should be fine with this in theory. A reverb knob. I'm never going to use reverb. I don't know why they did that. I may use it if I'm loading in a sample onto Koala and adding reverb going in. That does kind of remove additional options for me to edit it, but the options there. And then headphones. So for the headphone amp. As far as for the sides here, you got a combo jack. This is kind of where it gets a little weird, but we'll figure it out. You get a combo jack here, right? And then you also get a headset input here, which is kind of cool because traditionally, and I think it's a lot different now. I think a lot of devices have kind of moved on from this, but this is more like a early 2000s function. So basically what I'm meaning is that typically if you play online, say Xbox Live, if you're doing a stream, you used to had to have two different sources, one to hear your friends on Xbox Live, and then one to actually hear your voice in your audio of your streaming device. I think a lot of devices integrate that so you can hear both. At least you can with OBS. So I find that always to be funny to include this. But what the heck, it's on here. Auxiliary in, which is obviously another big one as well. So in case the Bluetooth function, if I did want to do that, or if I'm putting in a source that's not from my phone, say it's from like a record player or something. So if I have like RCA into auxiliary, that's one way that I can get it sampled into Koala. So good thinking there. Headphones, obviously, we want to hear. How can we hear anything when this happens? And then there's a speaker out. So, if I want to plug it into some speakers, you got that. And then you got these two ports here. So one of them is to plug into a wall or what have you, or power adapter probably, because it says 5 volts. So I may be able to use a power bank to plug into this to power it. In theory, if I'm traveling, obviously wouldn't do that from at a desk, but the option is there. And then you have this where you can plug in to a computer or a phone, as it shows here. Excuse me, but I would plug it into the iPad. So in theory, that should work. So the next part here, I'm going to, and right now I'm speaking through the Fifine AM8. This is a modified Fifine AM8. I actually am using I took a capsule and I put a new capsule into this. The capsule is from a Superlux TM58. It's basically like a SM58 copy type of microphone. Very nice microphone, actually. It's probably one of the best carbon copy SM58 rip off microphones. It doesn't sound like a 58, as you've noticed, but I think it sounds really good. So it's one of the better microphones that have that TM58 or that 58 naming, but it's actually a decent capsule. So but my point is, in mentioning this is USB into the iPad. So I'm going to switch this via XLR, where I'm going through the Maonocaster G1 Neo into the iPad, and then we'll cut to the functions, and then also I will upload, use the iPad for Koala. We'll see how we can use this with Koala, and if in fact we can, this is kind of a Swiss Army knife. You can use it for streaming, gaming, and even a little bit of music production when it comes to putting in your samples and stuff. So let's cut to me plugging it into the Maonocaster. All right, guys, we have the Maonocaster G1 Neo hooked up here. I have it at about 5 or 6 as far as the gain. Turn up just a little bit more. But as you can see here, I have it plugged in. You're seeing the, you're seeing the monitoring here. So you see that. There's a slight machine-ish area-ish delay. Testing. There's a slight latency. It's not big. I can just hear a little bit. So it's workable. It's doable. So at least the music isn't going through the headphone plug. So it's going to go through, the Bluetooth, or that's the idea. So I got the RGB on here for funsies. The Bluetooth, I have it hooked up actually to my phone right now. So we're going to test that here in a bit. The reverb is off, but this is the reverb on. Why do you guys have reverb in these things? Nobody wants that. Just take it off. Just make it a regular device. Anyway, let me turn it down. All right, reverb is off. You got noise reducer. So you got noise cancellation. There's noise cancellation low. Noise cancellation low. And then I don't know if it's coming through this, but it says noise cancellation high. So it's it's a pretty aggressive noise gate. It's not terrible, but it is cutting off a decent amount after each word that I say. And then it tells me noise cancellation off. So there's that. I haven't done anything to the buttons yet as far as the customization. We'll see if there's any type of software at the end of the video. It's going to be a little bit of a longer one, so I apologize for that. Let's try the music function, yeah? Let's try the Bluetooth, see how that is. So I'm going to do one of my songs here. This is Narita from my J Palace Japan. The album is on my channel, so check it out if you'd like. And it's the first song of the video, so. Seems to work pretty good. to do if I have to adjust the audio from my phone, because it's all the way up here. Here we go. See the drums kick in. Okay, it's not bad. There we go. Okay. So that's pretty dope. Let's try the mute function. Let's try the mute function on this. All right. You're nothing. You're nothing, huh? Okay. Okay. Now let's try the side chain. So like I said at the beginning of the video, the side chain. Well, let's press side chain. Okay, so as you guys, it is working. See, like I said on the video, it is a ducking function. So when I'm talking, it pushes the song to the side so you can hear my ridiculous banter. And like I mentioned, it's still working. So sidechain is actually really cool. I actually like that a lot. I could definitely do something like this for my 440 podcast, because I want to make certain adjustments to how I want the podcast to be. So this will be useful. All right, so Bluetooth works just fine. So that is pretty cool. I do dig that. Let me try muting myself to see if it's a quick mute. 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 So there's a little bit of a delay when it comes back. I'm not sure if there's a delay when I turn it on. So I'm talking. Yeah, there's a delay when it goes to mute, and there's a delay when it comes back. So when you're pressing mute, you want to expect to wait a second or two before it actually mutes. So that's interesting. I don't think there's anything on these, but I'll press them anyway. Okay, yeah, there's nothing on these, but I can program stuff onto that. What else do I need to test here? Auxiliary in, we can do the auxiliary in here in just a bit. I have to cut to the different clip, but that is the main functions on here. So that is pretty neat. Yeah, so let's go ahead now and test out. Let's test out first just how it is recording into a computer. So I'll do a test here of my computer recording into, we'll do something like Audacity, something really basic, but just so we know that it can work as a regular audio interface, and then we'll go into music and then we'll close out. Okay, so this looks like the audio is pretty low here. All right, so now we have a little bit more of a stronger audio sense here. This is the Maonocaster G1 Neo. Nice thing about when you're recording into the Logic or into your DAW in general, I can still hear or see the indicators, the sound indicators onto the actual device itself. So that's actually kind of cool because a lot of devices don't have that. So one thing to be mindful of when you're using this is the gain. Don't confuse the gain to the roller here, the slider, I should say. So for the Zoom R4, you don't have a separate gain dial. You just have the slider, and it works as gain and volume at the same time. So that's when I was rolling it up and I said, oh, I have it all the way up. Hopefully you can hear it. The gain was at 50%. So it actually records a lot louder. So what I would have to do is just roll the slider down, turn the gain up, and then roll the slider up. So it's appropriately changing that. So that is something to be noted. You just have to remember, you need to up your gain, then manage it with this guy here. So good thing there. And let's try this out through Koala. Let's play in a sample, which we just played music, so we should be able to play in a sample no problem. But I want to make sure that it comes in clean as far as the Bluetooth on this. And yeah, we'll circle back. I am using the USB microphone here to record the audio with the video here. I essentially just want to show you guys that you can get a signal into Koala by doing the Bluetooth into it. So I'm going to play one of my tracks here, just so there's no copyright shenanigans. So we're going to do the press and hold. Or actually, let's first and see if Koala is going to recognize the Maonocaster G1 Neo. So we'll go to settings, audio. Yep, see right there, Maonocaster G1 Neo. So it already recognizes it as an audio interface, so no fuss, no muss there. Let's go ahead and press hold and record, and then we'll play into it for the phone. So we'll just choose this one just for the hell of it. And I already hear it from the Maonocaster. Hey, that's pretty solid. Look at that. All right, guys. So closing out here, what do you guys think? I think this sounds pretty good. It provides a pretty decent value for $44. To be real here, devices like this used to be $300, $400 actually. Um, So the Bluetooth is right on. I think the gain is solid. It's just as a reminder, the gain is for the audio. The slider is just controlling it. So it's not like the Zoom R4 where you're managing the volume and the gain and the slider. The slider is just for the audio control. Gain control is going to be in the knob. So just be cautious of that if you're not familiar with how to use a device like this. So yeah, the volume is strong. I think as far as for the gain, I didn't test the 40 volts phantom power. I just don't have a condenser to really use here for this video. I don't want to make it any longer than it is. Functions seem to work. A little bit of a delay as far as for the mic mute, but the song mute seemed to be immediate. Bluetooth worked fine. Worked great. So that should be really fun using this with Koala. Putting those samples in should be a breeze. Sidechain works great. It's probably my favorite function there. Sidechain works really well. And the direct monitor, the biggest flaw I feel like for me is the direct monitoring. I wish direct monitoring was, I wish it was a little stronger. I hear a little bit of a delay. It's not too bad. It's workable. It's definitely workable, but I do hear a little bit of a delay, just slightly. But it's doable. I don't see it really affecting anything from a workflow standpoint. It's just slightly annoying for those who are used to more high-end products. But again, $45 because it's on sale right now on Amazon. And then also too, I don't know if you guys noticed, I forgot my fan is on. It's not a very loud fan. It's one of those silent USB or battery powered fans. So any additional hiss or fan, it's through that. So hopefully that doesn't ruin the entire video. But, but anyway, I think this is a go for 45 bucks. It can't go wrong. Maono's made some pretty decent devices. I really enjoyed the Pro Studio Lite. I did a review on this on my channel as well. This is a solid device as well. Fine for podcasting audio. I wouldn't say necessarily for guitar. I just don't think there's enough headroom. Also similar with this, don't use guitar with this. It's a combo jack, but just don't do it. It's not enough headroom. But this should be good as far as sampling music into it. So yeah, give it a shot. But again, J Powell Music, test this tech. Catch you guys next video. Thanks a lot.